Visual Studio is packed with tools so you can complete the entire development cycle from initial design to final deployment, all conveniently in one place. If you're new to Visual Studio, this short video will show you some essential features as a starting point. We'll start by running some sample code, see how to discover features, and how to begin working with code in terms of browsing, editing, and debugging. Let's begin with the Start window. You can get to any previously open code from the left-hand side. The right side has a few options for starting with new code, which is what we will do now. I'm going to pick Clone a repository because GitHub has a ton of sample code repositories, and I want to clone or copy code from there and bring it into my editor. I need to enter a repro URL. Here's a simple web app on GitHub for reading feeds. Let's grab a link to it and clone. Now we have a copy of the sample to play with. Click the play button or hit F5 to run the application and see how it works. What feed do we want to enter here? Visual Studio blog team has a feed with cool articles on the latest features. Let's plug in the blog feed URL and check out some of the latest posts. This app works great, and it's that easy to open code, build, and run in Visual Studio. Visual Studio is packed with features, so it can be overwhelming to navigate. For beginners, the easiest way to discover the things we are looking for is to use the search box at the top. For example, to open a terminal window, just search for it and open from the results. The built-in terminal is now ready for you to run commands. Let's take a closer look at the Solution Explorer, which is a good place to start digging into the sample code. We see a solution containing projects, which in turn contain source code files. Solution and projects are how Visual Studio organizes code files and dependencies that go into making an application. After opening one of the source code files, we can follow the flow of code using GoToDefinition. For example, to understand how this app fetches news items from the feed URL, we can right-click and go to the definition of getNews method and check out the details. We can also see where getNews method is being utilized by following the references to it. Visual Studio has many built-in debugging capabilities. We can set a breakpoint at any point of interest in the code to pause the execution of code or view step by step. Check out the locals and autos windows for troubleshooting the code by inspecting the values being changed in each step. We can fix issues or make changes to the code on the fly and see the results without restarting the application. We can change the ordering of feed list, apply the change with hot reload, and refresh the feed list in the app to see the change immediately. Visual Studio has excellent keyboard accessibility. It supports an array of built-in keyboard shortcuts to perform actions quickly. To look up built-in keyboard shortcuts, just go to Help, select Keyboard Shortcut Reference. Get contextual help by pressing F1 while the mouse cursor is on a keyword or after selecting a keyword. For example, we can quickly jump to the documentation on Order By method by clicking on F1. Visual Studio team is passionate about helping new developers feel successful while having fun coding. You can get in touch with the team by following Visual Studio handle on Twitter, as well as by subscribing to Microsoft Visual Studio channel on YouTube. When in doubt, you can always head to visualstudio.com to discover all the cool resources available. We hope this introduction helped you to get started with Visual Studio. Keep learning and happy coding.